You can have the company, Daniel said with a smirk, sliding the divorce papers across our lawyer's polished conference table. Consider it your alimony. I stared at the documents, hardly believing what I was reading. After 15 years of marriage, my soon-to-be ex-husband was giving me full ownership of Bennett Technologies, the software company he'd run into the ground over the past 3 years. The company's worthless, Sarah, he added, probably mistaking my silence for hesitation. But hey, if you want to play CEO instead of getting monthly payments, be my guest. Our lawyers exchanged glances. Mine, Patricia Chen, raised an eyebrow at me. She knew what Daniel didn't, that before becoming his wife, I'd earned my MBA from MIT and worked as a software development manager at Microsoft. Are you sure about this, Mr. Bennett? Patricia asked carefully. Once signed, these terms are binding. Daniel waved his hand dismissively. The company's losing money every month. Another year, it'll probably go bankrupt. He turned to me. But Sarah always thought she knew better than me outrunning it, so let her try. I had tried to advise him, had watched for 3 years as he ignored industry trends, alienated our best developers, and chased flashy projects that went nowhere. But Daniel had always dismissed my input. Just focus on being a good corporate wife, he'd say. Leave the business to those who understand it. Now he was trying to shortchange me in the divorce by giving me a failing company instead of proper alimony. Little did he know, he was giving me exactly what I wanted. I accept, I said, keeping my voice neutral. Daniel's lawyer started to speak, but Daniel cut him off. Let her have it, better than paying her for the next decade. We signed the papers. Just like that, I became the owner and CEO of Bennett Technologies, a company with 50 employees, dwindling contracts, and a rapidly depleting bank account. You'll regret this, Daniel said as he stood to leave. You have no idea how to run a tech company. I smiled, thinking of the business plan I'd been secretly developing for months. We'll see. The next morning, I walked into Bennett Technologies' offices for the first time as CEO. The place looked exactly as tired and demoralized as our financials suggested: scuffed furniture, outdated equipment, and employees who clearly didn't want to be there. All hands meeting in 15 minutes, I announced, heading to what was now my office. Daniel had left it a mess, like everything else. At 9 a.m. sharp, I stood before the entire staff in our main conference room. Some looked curious, others skeptical. Most had probably been expecting the company to fold after the divorce. As you know, I'm now the owner and CEO of Bennett Technologies, I began. What you don't know is that before marrying Daniel, I spent 8 years in software development and product management. That got their attention. Whispers rippled through the room. I know the past few years have been difficult. I've watched this company lose its way, chasing trends instead of building on our strengths. I pulled up my presentation. That changes today. Over the next hour, I outlined my vision for transforming Bennett Technologies. We would focus on enterprise software solutions, specifically the cybersecurity sector that Daniel had dismissed as boring. Our existing security products, though underdeveloped, had a solid foundation we could build on. Any questions? I asked after finishing my presentation. Marcus Chen, our lead developer, raised his hand. These changes, they're exactly what some of us have been suggesting for years. I know, I said. I read all the proposals Daniel rejected. Starting today, every idea will be evaluated on its merits, not on who suggests it. By lunchtime, the office felt different. There was energy, excitement even. People were actually talking about projects instead of just watching the clock. Mrs. Bennett, my assistant appeared at my door. The development team would like to show you something. First, I said, standing up, my name is Sarah Wilson now. I've gone back to my own name. She smiled. Ms. Wilson, then. They're waiting in the lab. The development lab was cramped but well organized. Marcus and his team had set up a demonstration of their latest security software patch. One Daniel had shelved 6 months ago. We kept working on it in our spare time, Marcus explained. We knew it had potential. I watched as they showed me the enhanced features, the elegant code architecture, the market-ready functionality. This was exactly the kind of foundation we needed. How long until we could launch? I asked. Marcus blinked. Launch, you mean? Yes. Make it our priority. How long? The team exchanged glances. 2 weeks for final testing, Marcus said. maybe 3 to polish the UI. You have 2 weeks, I said, and I'm doubling the development budget. That afternoon, I made 2 critical phone calls. The first was to Michael Zhang, my old colleague from Microsoft who now ran a venture capital firm. Sarah Wilson, he laughed. I heard you got Bennett Technologies in the divorce. Bold move. I need capital, I said. $5 million to fund expansion. The company has solid IP and an experienced development team. Daniel ran that company into the ground, Michael said cautiously. Why should I believe you can turn it around? Remember the enterprise security platform I designed at Microsoft? The one that generates $300 million in annual revenue? Of course, it's still one of our most profitable. Wait. He paused. Are you saying Bennett Technologies has something better? Come see for yourself. The second call was to Lisa Martinez, a headhunter I'd worked with years ago. I need engineers, I told her. The best you can find, especially in cybersecurity. How many? 10 to start, and Lisa? Money's no object. I want the best. That evening, I stayed late at the office, reviewing contracts and financial records. The situation was bad, but not unfixable. We had enough cash runway for 3 months, if we could launch the new security product before then. My phone buzzed, a text from Daniel. Heard you're making big changes already. Good luck with that. You'll need it. I ignored it, focusing instead on the email that had just arrived from Michael Zhang. Demo scheduled for tomorrow. This better be good. I smiled, thinking of Marcus and his team's hidden gem of a security platform. Oh, it will be, I whispered to my empty office. It will be. The next few weeks were a blur of activity. Michael Zhang's venture firm invested $8 million after seeing the demo, more than I'd asked for. They knew a winner when they saw one. With fresh capital, we hired top talent, upgraded our infrastructure, and accelerated development. The office hummed with purpose, our developers energized by finally having the resources and support they needed. 3 weeks after I took over, we launched Secure Core, our enterprise security platform. The response exceeded even my optimistic projections. This is exactly what we've been looking for, the CTO of a major bank told me during a demo. How soon can we start implementation? By the end of the first month, we had 10 major clients and a growing pipeline. The industry noticed. Tech blogs started writing about the mysterious transformation of Bennett Technologies. That's when Daniel called. We need to talk. Daniel's voice was tight with barely controlled anger. About what you're doing to my company. My company, I corrected, watching the sunset from my new corner office. You signed it over, remember? I give you a failing business to avoid alimony. Not this. I smiled, though he couldn't see it. Not what, Daniel? A successful company, a growing client base, positive press. You've changed everything. The product direction, the management structure. Yes, I cut in. That's what good CEOs do when things aren't working. They fix them. He was quiet for a moment. I want it back. Excuse me? The company. I'll pay you what it was worth when we divorced. Plus a fair premium. I laughed, actually laughed out loud. You mean you'll pay me the $2 million it was worth when you thought it was worthless? Now that it's worth 20 times that? 20 times. His voice cracked. That's impossible. It's only been 2 months. Our latest valuation came in yesterday. The venture round puts us at 40 million. And that's just the beginning. Silence. Then, I'll sue. You must have been planning this. It's fraud. No, Daniel. It's competence. Something you never recognized in me. I straightened some papers on my desk. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a board meeting to prepare for. After hanging up, I sat back in my chair, thinking about how far we'd come in just 2 months. Secure Core was exceeding all projections, our development team had doubled in size, and we'd moved to a new office space that actually matched our ambitions. My assistant knocked on the door. Ms. Wilson, the management team is ready for you. The conference room was packed with our expanded leadership team, some familiar faces, some new hires I brought in. All of them energized, focused, ready to build something extraordinary. Good morning, everyone, I began. Let's talk about Phase 2. Phase 2 was my plan for expanding beyond just cybersecurity. We had the team, the technology, and now the capital to build a complete enterprise software suite. Development timeline is aggressive, Marcus said, reviewing the specs. But with the new team members, it's doable. What about market positioning? Lisa Chen, our new VP of Marketing, asked. We're still seen as a security company. That's about to change, I smiled. Wait until you see what's next. What was next turned out to be bigger than any of us expected. Our enterprise suite, built on Secure Core's foundation, revolutionized how companies manage their digital infrastructure. The market response was overwhelming. 6 months after I took over, Bennett Technologies, now rebranded as Nexus Systems, was valued at $70 million. We had offices in 3 cities, over 200 employees, and a client list that included Fortune 500 companies. That's when Daniel made his next move. Ms. Wilson? My assistant's voice was unusually tense. Your ex-husband is here, with his lawyer. I looked up from my computer to see Daniel striding into my office, followed by a man in an expensive suit carrying a thick folder. This is ridiculous, Sarah, Daniel snapped before I could speak. You've stolen my life's work. I raised an eyebrow. Your life's work? You mean the company you were running into bankruptcy? The one you gave away to avoid paying alimony? His lawyer stepped forward. Mrs. Bennett. Ms. Wilson, I corrected. Ms. Wilson, my client believes you acted in bad faith during the divorce proceedings. You clearly had plans to transform the company but withheld that information. I pressed a button on my phone. Patricia, would you join us, please? Minutes later, my lawyer walked in, looking unsurprised to see Daniel and his attorney. Perfect timing, I said. These gentlemen were just explaining how I acted in bad faith by making a failing company successful. Patricia smiled thinly. Were they? How fascinating. She set her briefcase on my desk. Shall we review the divorce agreement? The one where Mr. Bennett insisted on giving away the company because, and I quote, it's worthless anyway? Daniel's face reddened. She knew it had potential. No, I cut in, standing up. I knew it had good people. I knew it had solid technology. What it didn't have was competent leadership. I met his eyes. Until now. We'll take this to court, his lawyer threatened. Please do, Patricia replied. I'd love to explain to a judge how Mr. Bennett tried to shortchange his wife in their divorce by giving her a supposedly worthless asset, only to cry foul when she turned it into a success. They left shortly after, Daniel's face dark with fury. Patricia stayed behind. He won't give up easily, she warned. I know. I walked to the window, looking out at the city skyline. But he has nothing. No legal grounds, no moral high ground, nothing. You've done something remarkable here, Sarah. I turned back to her. Want to know the funny part? I offered to help him with the company years ago. Had all these ideas for improving it, expanding it, but he wouldn't listen. His loss, Patricia said simply. Yes, I agreed. His loss. The next few months proved her right about Daniel not giving up. He tried everything. Legal threats, negative press, even attempting to poach our employees. None of it worked. Our team stayed loyal, our clients stayed committed, and our growth continued accelerating. Every attack Daniel made just proved how right I'd been to transform the company. 9 months after taking over, we launched our most ambitious product yet, an AI-powered enterprise management platform that integrated everything from security to workflow automation. The market went crazy. Nexus Systems revolutionizes enterprise software. The headlines read, Tech's newest unicorn emerges from unlikely origins. Our valuation hit $100 million exactly 1 year after Daniel had smirked across that conference table and given me his worthless company. I celebrated by taking the entire company to dinner. All 300 employees, from senior executives to junior developers. We rented out a beautiful venue overlooking the harbor, and I made sure everyone who had been there from the beginning got special recognition. A year ago, I told them, raising my glass, this company was dying. Not because it lacked talent or potential, but because it lacked vision. You all had that vision. You just needed someone to believe in it. Marcus stood up. No, we needed someone to believe in us. You didn't just save the company, Sarah. You showed us what we could really do. Later that evening, as people mingled and celebrated, I found a quiet moment to check my phone. There was a text from Daniel. Congratulations, I underestimated you. I didn't reply. Some acknowledgments come too late to matter. The next morning, I arrived at the office early as usual. The sunrise painted the sky in shades of possibility, just like it had that first morning when I'd walked in as CEO. My assistant handed me the morning's press clippings, more coverage of our success, our innovation, our future plans. One headline caught my eye: From Divorce Settlement to Tech Empire. The Sarah Wilson Story. I smiled, remembering Daniel's condescending comments about playing CEO. He'd never understood that I wasn't playing anything. I was finally doing what I'd been capable of all along. My phone buzzed. A message from our board chairman. Acquisition offer came in. Major tech firm. They're offering $300 million. I thought about it for a moment, then typed back, "Not interested. We're just getting started." Because that was the truth. This wasn't about proving Daniel wrong anymore. It wasn't about revenge or vindication. It was about building something meaningful, something that mattered. Looking out at the growing office, at the teams gathering for their morning meetings, at the energy and purpose that filled every corner, I knew I'd done more than just turn around a failing company. I created a future, not just for myself, but for everyone who had believed in the vision when it mattered most. And that was worth more than any acquisition offer.